So I will say we have to embrace AI.
Yes.
And I'm saying that to myself too, because I haven't.
Yeah.
And I think even when we see it with our youth now, like we're getting pulled away. Everything is technology. Yeah. Everything is becoming easier, but it's just like we need to stay resourceful, especially in the time that we're in now. Yeah. And technology is scary because you don't know what, you don't understand it. Yes, we have to study it. So AI, like I utilize it, Chat GPT for sure. Yeah. I do utilize it, but I try to stray away from it. Even when I do utilize it, I change the things because technology takes the humanness out of like everything that you do, out of your work.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Empower716, the podcast dedicated to entrepreneurs and business owners in the Western New York area. So we are back, as I stated, to really talk about a topic that should be on all business owners and entrepreneurs' minds. Really, it's the lifeline of any business. It is marketing. And I have a special guest in the building. Her name is Madeline Little. Her company name is the Marketing Abstract. And so she's going to talk about her business, her entrepreneurial journey, as well as giving us some marketing insights, some best practices that will help you in your business in the future. So welcome to the show, Madeline.
Hi, my name is Madeline Little, and I'm the CEO and owner of the Abstract Way Marketing Agency. Thanks for watching Empower716 Podcast.
So marketing, I want to know, before we get into actually your business, so just a little bit about your education. Like what school did you, as far as college-wise or high school-wise?
So high school wise, I actually went to Hutch Tech, and I honestly had no desire to be an engineer. I just was like, I know I'm smart. Let me take the test. And I got in, and it kind of just went crazy from there. But I did join the poetry club. So I did a lot of writing in high school, and I tried to figure out what I wanted to do in college. And I think where I was going to come back to this a little bit later too, but I didn't see a lot of representation in the media, or newsletters or things of that nature. People of color weren't writing, they weren't telling stories, they weren't telling their stories or our stories, the community stories. They were our counterparts or our allies or people that, are just not people of color telling our stories. So I was like, let me just go to college. And I actually chose to go to Fredonia for my undergrad, which was crazy because, as I said, I grew up on the east side, so I had never seen past Kensington and, Bailey and all of that. So going out to a place that's really rural. Was a life changer. It was actually life changing. But the first day I cried when I got there. It was different. But I chose journalism as my undergraduate major, and then I minored in African American studies. And it was odd because to be at Fredonia, which is a predominantly white institution, it was different. Most of my classes, I was the only person of color in the class, and our stories were different. So I wanted to pitch Black stories. But everybody else wanted to talk about other things that weren't Black stories. But for me, I'm like, no, I want to write what I know about, what I see, and about the community that I come from. Nice. So that's kind of how I got into the media world, which was journalism. And then after that, I graduated with my bachelor's in journalism, and I was like, journalism is very limited. I didn't like all the rules, all the ethics, all the codes, and sometimes because of those codes, your story gets completely changed. And now it's changed a little bit, but back then I graduated in 2020 from undergrad. COVID happened, and things were still traditional media. I kind of fell in love with PR. So that's what I went into. I went to Buff State for my graduate school, and I majored in public relations, and that's where everything just kind of spread it. So really, when you think about marketing and PR, it's really the strategy behind businesses. So it's how are you promoting yourself in the community, online, on different platforms, in the news media realm? How are you pitching yourself in a world, and you're trying to solve problems, right? So where are you placing yourself that's that's going to be beneficial for the consumer and for yourself to get engaged with your product, with your service, or whatever, so be it. Media is really just a form that people use to produce their services or entertainment or products. So it's like the place that people push their things out of. That's really how I see it.
So a lot of, I guess, in the journey of entrepreneurship, juggling full-time job and having a business, kind of tell me how all of that blends into what you're doing.
Yeah, so actually I'm going to go back a little bit. So I interned with Say Yes Buffalo in 2018 or 2017, I believe. I can't remember right now, which is crazy because it seems so far away. But 2018, I interned as a communications intern there. And I work at Say Yes full time now as a communications and alumni relations specialist. I just got a promotion.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. So I started there, and interning there, I knew I wanted to work there. I was like, oh my gosh, I worked under the amazing Daphne Ross. And David Russ is our CEO, and I never got told no there. And that summer I worked with a partner, and I enjoyed it a lot, and I learned a lot. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, like I know I can grow here. So the next summer I reached out and was like, oh my gosh, like, do you guys have another internship so I can work here, because I'm going to come back every time until I get hired, literally. And that came into fruition, which is great. But that next summer they asked me to come back on by myself. Oh. And that summer I launched my first newsletter. Actually, it was called The Unnoticed, and it really gave like a voice to the voiceless, but really showcasing like what people on the east side are doing, or what people in like underrepresented communities are doing. And I interview young adults from Buffalo, from Rochester, and from New York City. But I was the person that was creating the newsletter. I was doing the interviewing, I was doing the editing, and then pushing it out as well. Wow. But throughout that, like Say Yes, they allowed me to create it there. So I use the software because Adobe is expensive.
Yes, it is.
So I used their software, and they allowed me to print it out, and I put it all over the office. Like, people read it. They just really believed in me.
Wow.
So that's kind of where I want to segue in, where it's like, how do I do it? Yeah. It's because of the belief that they have in me. Like, they know that I have a business. They know I have a full-time job as well. And I don't really let the two mess each other up when it comes to the capacity of work, but the support is combined. So I'm like on a path of rebranding, actually, just a name, because it is a tongue twister, but it's called the Abstract Way Marketing. Okay. So it's like, no, it's okay. So we shorten it to TAW.
Okay.
So yeah, the Abstract Way.
Okay.
But yeah, so the vision behind it, like I said, like I grew up where I didn't see like a lot of people that look like me. And I'm like, okay, so I started the newsletter, as I mentioned, the Unnoticed newsletter. I'm like, let me showcase people and write stories the way that I want to write the stories. But I seen like, when I graduated from undergrad, I'm like, that's still not enough. And you're limited. Like, I'm still not doing what I need to do. I launched my business in 2023. But before that, I'm like, okay, COVID, right? So I'm like, so many people started businesses, right? Yeah. They started like, cooking. They started, things that we couldn't get because like shops were closed down and things like that. They started doing it on their own. But the issue was they did not know how to promote themselves authentically and effectively in a world that just was on social media. Yeah. So when the world opened back up, a lot of those businesses declined because they didn't know how to promote themselves in person. Like, I have this thing where I say, like, when you are an entrepreneur, you have to get in the field. Yeah. Like, you have to get in the field. Like, promotion is also like word of mouth. You have to get in front of people. Like, just because you post a flyer or you create something on social media and post it, that's not marketing. Yeah. That's not branding. Like, it's just you like, okay, this is what you're doing. Some people may see it, some people may not, but it's just like you limit yourself, especially when you just do things on social media. So the vision with my business was like, okay, coming out of COVID, how can I help people with the tools that I have and the knowledge that I have, and still working to grow my business too? How can I help others like promote themselves authentically and effectively as they can? And with my business, like, I prayed about the name a lot, actually. I was in church and I had to think about like, what do I want to call it? Like, what do I want to be? I want to be different. What do I want my clients to look like? Different. How do I want to promote themselves like differently, but in a way that's catering to them and to their people, and in a way where they don't have to change themselves? Because a lot of time in marketing, we find ourselves changing who we are to please the masses. Yes. And it's like, why are you starting your business if it's behind a passion and a purpose, but you're marketing yourself in a way that's not pleasing to you, but yet you want people to buy from you? Like, no, you have to be authentic. So that was the vision, like really helping small businesses, elevate themselves to look like and become bigger businesses, promoting themselves authentically and effectively.
Do you find a lot of businesses are looking for the viral moment?
They are. And I think, oh my gosh, we could talk about viralness for a long time, because it's just like, is it viral to the world or is it viral to you? Because if you get a certain amount of likes more than what you got last week, like, what is that? Or like, what's the projection of views that you have versus the likes that you have on social media? Like, that's important. Engagement is important. Reach is important. Like, there's a difference. And people are just like, oh my gosh, like, my content isn't getting looked at because of likes. And it's like, have you looked at the engagement? There's a Meta Suite tool that you can utilize on, it's called Meta Suite, Meta Facebook Suite. Like, you can get it through Facebook, but it shows you your analytics. It shows you your insights. It shows you if you're entertaining or engaging women or men. It shows you the ages. Like, people have to utilize like the tools that are at their fingertips when it comes to engagement, and then base their marketing strategy or their content that they're posting off those analytics. Because it's just like, if you're not making content to engage the people that are already looking at your stuff, then they're not going to look at it. You're not going to get likes. Everything is, kind of intertwined together. The importance of that, right? And posting on all those social medias, I think that comes with a marketing strategy and a marketing plan. So when it comes to my clients, it's all about what services do you need, because I provide a variety. So whether that's branding, whether that's just PR stuff, or whether that is just social media managing, or you want me to just completely do a rebrand, but that can be overall or just on social media, may look different. So we'll focus on social media. If somebody is like, okay, I'm not getting the engagement that I want, or I don't think people are looking at my stuff, well, let's take a look at your social media. What does it look like? It needs to look nice. It needs to look, aesthetically pleasing across the board. Like, everything needs to have a certain look. And then with that, it's like, let's look at your analytics. But first, even before that, who is your audience? Do you know? A lot of entrepreneurs don't take the time out to figure out who their specific audience is. So that comes with the branding part, and you're positioning yourself in the community. Like, who are you as a business? Who are you trying to engage, and how are you going to do it? And then also, what problem are you going to solve to make people want to engage in your stuff and support you? Like, people don't do it. They just like, okay, I have this idea. Let me make a flyer and let me run with it.
Out there.
And it's just like, no, like, what is the marketing strategy behind it? So after you get that engagement, then what is the next step? What places are you going to be at? Like, marketing also includes like outreach. There's multiple different things that a lot of people don't take, like, into consideration, but like, it plays a part in like, the longevity of your business, because it's just like, if you're planning as you go, it's not really going to work out, because it's just like, you're not thinking of like what could happen, or like, what if you do blow up? Then what? You don't have a plan for it. But with the social media platforms, again, find the specific audience. Like, obviously, if you're what you're working in a health home entrepreneurship, or a health home business, and you want to engage like elders 55 and up, you're not going to be on Facebook and Instagram. There may be some people that you engage on Facebook and Instagram. LinkedIn's not going to be the best option, but maybe you need to go in person, right? So it's just like, it's different. If you want to engage like teenagers, TikTok, maybe even Snapchat. But Snapchat is well beyond its years too. But if you're trying to engage like the middle age group, I'll say like 27 to maybe about like 40, right? Or 21 to 40 even. That's Facebook, that's Instagram, that's LinkedIn. That's like the people that are gonna go to things that they see on social media and show up and, really trust. It all depends on like who you really want to engage and what your business is solving. The problem is solving. So branding is establishing your business, who you are, your colors, your logo, your mission statement, your vision statement, figuring out like, again, the problem that you're solving, like really establishing who you are as a business. Also, your brand is you. So who you are as a person, your values, like what you align with and what you want your customers or clients to align with. And then marketing is a strategy that you put behind it after you figure out who you are and what you want your business to look like in the community or in the community that you're trying to service. So that's the difference.
I love it. What can you share with an entrepreneur who says, what, I don't have the money. I'm just going to keep going.
The thing is, like, the money will come. So I'm going to hit on that point first. The money will come, but also we live in a community, in communities where workshops are available for free. You have to really want it. Like, you got to put yourself out there. You got to connect with people. You have to never. When I say get in the field, sometimes it's just by talking to people and telling people, like, this is who I am and this is what I want to do. Do you have the resources? Do you know where I can go? Like, really getting in the field. But what you miss out on when you completely like wipe marketing off the table or PR off the table, you miss out on potential clients. You miss out on recognition, because sometimes, like, when you don't have a brand, we don't have a brand style guide, when you don't know who you are, you look different in the community. Your brand looks different in the community. They won't recognize you all the time. It's like, oh, but usually like when you see your colors, we know like that's who Robert is. Like that burgundy that you have, you use that in a little bit of everything. We know that's you. Like, but once you brand yourself, you stand out. People start to notice you and recognize you. You have to think about these big brands like, even Fenty with Rihanna or Nike or even, food spots, Chick-fil-A, like, know certain things, Chipotle, like, the favorite things that we have, but it's like the way that they brand themselves, like it's on brand. Even sayings, statements, taglines are important. Slogans, that's important. But when you don't think about that, you miss out on it. And then it's like you kind of embed yourself into the masses where you're not different and people don't really want to, work with you or service you. The money will always come. Like it came for me. I like to be a marketer, you have to have a marketing budget. It's like you could do all this stuff for yourself, but also while you're trying to handle finances, while you're trying to also have people invest in you. While I'm in the space right now, I'm trying to build a team and it is extremely difficult. People know what I do. They know who I am. They know what I'm about. I stand out. Like, the name stands out. People are like, okay, like this is different. But it's just like, now it's just like, so how right now I'm trying to get a team. So how am I putting myself in a place in the community where people actually want to work with me and support me? So that's like the strategy that I'm working on right now amongst everything else. And that's the other thing that I would say too. You have multiple strategies when you're an entrepreneur. Right. It's not just one, because you also have different audiences. So if you're trying to get donors, that's an investment strategy that you have to make. If you're trying to get social media, like clientele or engagement, that's a strategy that you have to have. Or if you just want to do outreach, you also have to have an outreach strategy. There's multiple different things, but it's like when you're not doing any of that, you're not planning. And as an entrepreneur, planning is crucial. Like having a planning tool is crucial because you miss out on things.
How significant is having a website?
When you're starting out, I don't think it's significant. I don't think it's crucial to have a website, but you need to have a social media page. I would say that for sure. At least have business cards that take you to a page that tells people about the things that you offer and who you are. That's important. So when it comes to a website later down the line, you have to at least have a one pager that people can go to, because 9 times out of 10 people are going to say like, what's your website? Do you have a website?
So the other thing I want to talk about is how is AI going to impact marketing?
So I will say we have to embrace AI. Yes. And I'm saying that to myself too, because I haven't.
Oh, really? Wow.
Because I am such a stickler on knowledge and traditional learning. Yeah. And I think even when we see it with our youth now, like we're getting pulled away. Everything is technology. Everything is becoming easier, but it's just like we need to stay resourceful, especially in the time that we're in now. Yeah. And technology is scary because you don't know what, you don't understand it. Yes, we have to study it. So AI, like I utilize it, Chat GPT for sure. Yeah. I do utilize it, but I try to stray away from it. And even when I do utilize it, I change the things because, technology takes the humanness out of like everything that you do, out of your work. But like AI is so crazy because you can literally type in, act as a marketer that focuses on a specific type of thing, and then give me 10 content items that I can talk about for the next few months. And it'll populate it for you based off people that are marketers. But then it's just like, you can also ask ChatGPT, cite where you got this information from, and it'll cite it for you too. Yeah. But it's scary because it's just like, well, how? And then it's like, also, once you keep utilizing it, it creates a persona for you. So like it has your personality. Yeah. So now you don't have to tell it to, act as a marketer. It already knows what to do when it comes to your business. But it's going to take over. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. First, I was a little hesitant. Mm-hmm. And then I realized, now for me, I only can speak for me. From what I've gathered, because I am a daily user of it, is
daily?
Yes. I don't think it takes away my knowledge. It actually gets me there more effective. Mm-hmm. Because what I do is I do this brain dump of like, if I have this thought process of something I want to do, work related, I just dump everything I'm thinking, and then it logically kind of puts everything together. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's me, not so much of me needing to like copy and paste somebody's, that it loses, who I am. So, but then I also things that I probably, because yesterday I was working on something and I needed to pull like 20 different documents and give me like the short form of all of this information in a basic level, and it did it in like literally 5 seconds.
Yeah, so it lessens the time. I think it's definitely a good tool for planning, right? It's definitely a great tool for planning, but because I work in the media realm and I work in marketing and PR, you can also tell when people are using it. You have an eye for it. Yeah. So I can literally see, like, if I see somebody like apply to something or they send in a few questions or something like that, you can notice it. So I think that, again, it takes away when you have to do certain things. So I think when you look at it in different subjects or different, fields of work, it may be useful and it takes away that time that you may spend doing that. Yeah. But I think as a marketer, it's helpful for sure. Like I said, planning. But when you're applying for things and when you're using it in a way that is not authentic, we see that and we don't like it. Thank you for having me. And I enjoyed this conversation. I enjoyed talking about marketing. I think a lot more people need to hear about it and learn about it and invest in a marketing budget. But yeah, I know that's all we have time for. But you guys can find me at Marketing the Abstract Way on Instagram and Facebook. And then stay tuned for the updated website at theabstractway.com.